We are so happy to have you on. Steve is host of One Bills Live on Buffalo's WGR, and you know plenty, obviously, about the Bills and Frazier, former defensive coordinator for them. What can you tell us? I'll start just about Leslie the person.
Well, he's one of those guys that great guy to have on the team. I really think he's an outstanding individual first and foremost. He's and the first thing you find out about him, you read his bio. He's part of that '85 Bears team. He's got all that history, and he's been in the league for so long. Got a wealth of knowledge. Just a wonderful dude. I think his players really liked him as a coach, and he was. I think he was really, really beloved by his players when he was here in Buffalo.
Hey, Steve, what's his what's his scheme on defense? If Leslie had his defense, he wasn't like joining someone else's scheme, just front wise, because obviously the Hawks have moved to a 34 defense from a 4-3. At 64 years old and Leslie being where he's been, I doubt there isn't a defense he can't coach. But do you know what he would prefer?
I don't know which one he'd prefer. I know he's worked in all of them, particularly as a player. He's in the Chicago's 46 defense, and that was obviously a 3-4 set and had some unique aspects of it. I think he's coached in both schemes, no question about it. Here in Buffalo, they were running the 4-3 almost exclusively, and one of the things about his defense here in Buffalo was that most teams in the NFL really did their best to see what your personnel adjustments were going to be once they lined up in different personnel combinations, right? So you'd have people coming out in 13, all the way from 13 personnel to 22 personnel to 10 personnel, with 0 tight ends all the way to 3 tight ends, no running backs all the way to just 1 running back, or to 2 running backs. So they tried everything here in Buffalo against Leslie's defenses. And the philosophy here in Buffalo when he was here was they wouldn't change their personnel for anything. They had a steady rotation on the defensive line. They ran 8 guys throughout the game, rotated in and out religiously, series by series or down by down, whichever they felt they needed to. And teams were really frustrated by the fact that they could not pry the Buffalo Bills defense out of their nickel package. And one of the reasons for that was they felt really good about their corners and their safeties, but also their nickel back, a guy named Taron Johnson here in Buffalo, was a feisty kid, could cover, and he was nasty in the run game. He was a very willing tackler, and he would jump in the fray. And teams would try their best to take advantage of that nickel defense, but time and time again, they always finished in the top 5, top 3, and including top 2 in defense and yards given up and points given up. So their philosophy here in Buffalo was that they were going to run their personnel. You had to adapt to that, and they were pretty confident they could beat you with it.
Now, Steve, I know you're not Leslie Frazier himself, but what do you think he saw in this opportunity over here with Seattle when you look at a 36-year-old head coach and the personnel that's already here?
I think he's invigorated by it. I don't think there's any question. He doesn't walk around or coach like a guy, is 64. He coaches much younger than that. All these defensive coordinators who, have been around for a long time will have, stuff about them that, like, for instance, if anytime you're a coordinator in the NFL, you sign up for getting criticized. One of the criticisms here in Buffalo was that he's a little too conservative, a little too soft at certain points of the game. He didn't go after people. He's not a pressure-packed coach. He turns his defenses loose and expects them to win, and in large measure they do. I mean, they have really come through for him. So, no, I don't. I think he's invigorated by the energy of the game. I think the head coach he's gonna love having Leslie around. Plus, Leslie's got that calm, soft-spoken demeanor that's has a calming influence on those people around him, and I think that's one of the things that there's a plus about having him on the staff.